Hello again peeps, thank you for clicking on the video. In today's video I'm going to be doing a review of the Firewolf scope cam mount. So if this sounds like your kind of thing, please stay tuned. Right, so first things first, I just want to tell you about the packaging and the contents and what you should expect to find in it. So you get this nice little clearly illustrated set of instructions that's in legible English, which is nice. You get this little felt bag which can be used to store it all in when it's not in use or connected to your rifle in any way. You get the main part of the mount, which is this tube that fits over the ocular lens of your scope, and it's nicely machined as well. I'd just like to add, there's no sharp edges on it or anything, it's all smooth and nicely done. And then you get this section of the mount as well, this little bracket which your mobile phone would obviously clamp down into. And then you also get a set of plastic screws which go through these holes, and they're used to clamp down onto your scope to tighten it all up. And obviously with them being plastic, they don't leave a mark on your scope, which is a nice touch, I think. Okay, so I'll just give a few specs on it. The universal mount fits almost all kinds of rifle scopes, ranging from a 37mm up to a 47mm outer diameter ocular lens. So this part of the device will fit onto just about any scope going, which is a nice touch. And the phone clamp also fits a wide range of smartphones, ranging from a width of 55mm up to 95mm, which again is a nice touch. It's made from a durable, lightweight anodised aluminium, and it weighs 316 grams or 11.14 ounces if you prefer. And it has a variety of installation methods, so the phone can be positioned on the right side, left side and vertically. So if you imagine that this is attached to the scope, you can have your smartphone that way, that way, that way, and then again obviously off to the left. It doesn't really matter, whichever way you prefer basically, which again is a nice touch. Okay, so just to do a little demonstration on how to attach it to a scope, I've pretty much done all the hard parts at this point, because when I say hard, it's more just fiddly, like, you know, it's not difficult to do, it's just fiddly. So I've got that bit out of the way off camera, so I'm not going to bore you all to sin. You'll get the idea when you get yours. You put these screws into that part of the device, you slide it over your scope, and you try and tighten these up equally as you can in order to have it as straight as you can. And by doing so, that allows you to then slip this part into that, and you can have it at whatever distance you want. But I found at this point, the next easiest thing to do is, once you've got your phone in the clamp part of the device, which again is easy to do but just slightly fiddly whilst trying to do it on camera, so I've done it off camera. You basically get this bit, screw that into there. There's some lovely wide threads on these, so you don't have to worry about crossing anything. And once you've got that on, and this part's on your gun obviously, you can obviously just leave it like that and go around and shoot, even with that bit just attached still. It doesn't affect your eye relief in any way. You can still see through the scope, and you can have this bit in your pocket or again in the bag that comes with it. And then when you're ready to take a shot and you want to record what you're going to shoot, it's literally just a case of sliding that into there. And again, it can be any way round, it doesn't matter. There's also a lovely range of adjustment for you to find relief for the camera's lens. And then when you're happy with where it is, you just tighten that last screw off, and that is it attached to the scope. It's as simple as that, and it comes off just as easy. And yeah, no fuss basically. It's a nice device that works well. Okay, so once on and fitted correctly, it has a very secure feeling about it. I've tried other types of mounts that was priced very similar to this, and they were so flimsy that you could never use them in any real circumstances. Like out in the field or on the range, you'd just be forever adjusting and fiddling around trying to make sure it's secure still, and all manner of headache basically. So with the Firewolf, there's just no worry of that. Like, it really does fit on securely. If you note, my thumbs have just got really white, and that's because I'm trying to pull this thing off of the scope, and it won't let go. And obviously once you've got all these sort of things tightened down loads as well, your smartphone sits perfectly where you want it to. It doesn't just start coming undone and you having to mess around with putting it back the way you wanted it. You know, there's no rattle. It doesn't add any extra weight to your rifle, which is nice. So it's lightweight, but it's strong. And this little screw here is a really clever design in my opinion, because it allows you to just you know, unattach that part of the device and keep it set to one side, and you can still use the rifle scope in a conventional way by looking through normally. This part doesn't affect your eye relief. And then obviously if something happens and you think, hey up, I want to record that, it's a case of literally just putting that in there to the kind of measured distance that you'd take note of, so you know after a while where your phone's going to find relief, and then you tighten it back up and you're ready to go. It's as easy as that. But at the same time, it's a hell of a secure once it's on, which I think is a real problem for most scope cam mounts, especially ones at this price range. So most of you will probably be thinking at this point, okay then, how much does it cost? And I'm pleased to say that it retails for less than £30 on eBay. It's an absolute steal, this bit of kit, if you ask me. As I said, I've used so many other types in the past, and this seems to be the most affordable and best option. I'm really happy with it. It's a tidy little device and it's very affordable and easy to use, so in that sense there's not much else to say about it. So now I'm just going to cut to some footage of the mount in use, and obviously it depends on what sort of camera you're going to use and what sort of scope you're going to use. So just to give you an idea, the scope that I'm using is a Hawk Vantage 2:7 by 32, and I'm also going to be using my Hawk Sidewinder TAC 30. So the TAC 30's got a 30mm tube, and the Vantage has got a 25mm tube, and the objective lens is quite different, and obviously the glass and the coatings will be quite different as well. So I'll use a low end scope and a high end scope to give you an idea of the quality that way. But the phone or the camera that I'm going to be using will be the same each time, which is a Samsung S7. But yes, a Samsung S7. So it's not a top of the range phone by any standards, but it will give you an idea of the quality you should expect to get, like, you know. So okay, I'll just cut to that footage now. Okay, so I've got another opportunity here potentially. He's unfortunately sat about 60 metres away, and I'm only dialed in with this setup out to 50 metres. So I'm going to sit and wait and see if he comes in a little closer. Yeah, rangefinder's just pinging up 58 metres at the minute, so that's it, mate. Have a good stretch. Just woken up. Bless him. Okay, so I'm not too sure what breed of bird it is, but this bird's about 60 metres away, and I'll zoom in. Just gives you an idea of the sort of quality that you can get from the picture. Put it onto ×10 so it doesn't distort for a minute. That's better. Okay, so that pretty much brings us to the end of the review. If you like what you've seen, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel.